What if boho's not your thing? What if you are a minimalist? We've got Brian Gluckstein in the This is the way to do minimalist. I think, you know, neither of us would describe ourselves as minimalist, but if that is who you are, there is a way to accessorize it so that there's still some warmth.
Well, that's the key. Like when you're going minimal, you don't want to go so minimal that it's frosty.
Right.
You know, you want some soul to your space. You want some comfort. So it's about accessorizing. It's about the pieces you use also. So even for minimal spaces, and we were talking about that sort of boho look, you can still go modern, but you look at the textures of this. So this is like a very rough-hewn wood with the metal. But don't do too many accessories that are all different styles and things. Just keep it the same. So we've just done the books and the boxes.
Yeah.
Keep it very simple. It's almost when you're doing very minimal accessorizing, the accessories need to be usable. It's not just a bunch of stuff. It's really about using them. So I always say every room should have a box for a remote control. The front door should have for the keys.
Your
everything
earrings.
like that. Your earrings, your eyeglasses. You know you can't find your eyeglasses. You should have one in every room in a box.
It's in the box.
So that's what I like to have. Planters, like when we're doing things like this, you can see how it's all in the same color.
Right.
And that's very important. So even if you have a lot of things, the same with the pillows. It's about accessorizing in a monochromatic way, which means everything's sort of a variation of the same color. So here we did the whites and the grays. We have a little bit of the pink, but the whites and grays. So you have a lot of things, but they're not all jumping out at you. And a popular thing now is sort of these retro
that is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
And they're coming out with so many different, you know, small appliances that have that retro look, but they work. And I feel like, you know, there's a little bit of nostalgia there. A lot of us want to go back without actually going back.
Exactly,
right?
and especially in spaces that are really of the moment, that are very modern, very sleek. It's nice to bring back some retro elements. So this is fun to bring in some retro elements to those spaces.
So when you did the art, and this is an important part with a minimalist space, it's very simple art. It's framed in a very simple way, but this way it stands out and it has impact. Because in a space like this, everything sort of has to play a role.
Yeah, and it's about the art and the accessories and the pillows, very little pattern.
Right.
So minimalist spaces, very modern spaces, tend to have not a lot of pattern. The pillows aren't overly patterned. The art isn't overly flowery or overly patterned. You may have some great photography, like you said, great sketches. This would be great to have 2, 4, 6. You could do a whole wall of them. But it's not that bold. It still works with that contemporary space. The same with the pillows and the throws. Keep it all in a very monochromatic. This is probably about as bold as I would go. But if you did that and everything was sort of monochromatic, that's again about warming up a minimal space. The throws, the pillows, things like that. Also getting some softness in the space, the ottomans. We're using a lot of ottomans as coffee tables. And a very tailored ottoman like this. So ottomans like this come in chrome, they come in brass, they come in black metal with the leather. Again, we were talking earlier about getting these clean, minimal spaces, but having warmth and a tactile quality.
It's important.
The woods, the leathers, the cashmeres, you know, the linens, you know, create all that space. You want to be minimal, but you want to be warm. And people are afraid, if I want it sort of clean looking, it's going to be frosty. No, no, no. It can be very warm depending on the materials used.
That was the most important thing I remember when we bought our house 7 years ago. And I said, I don't want anything to be too precious because we're actually living here, but I want it to be clean and I want it to be comfy. You can do all those things.
And you can even
But you need to live in your space.
Absolutely. And you can even have a traditional home and be minimal. It means you don't have a lot of stuff.
There's just not a lot of stuff.
You can have beautiful antiques, like one chest with a, you know, with a photograph hanging over it and one vase.
Right.
So the minimalism doesn't mean it has to be completely modern.
No.
It's about even clean traditional spaces. I love clean traditional spaces. There's not a lot of pattern. There's not a lot of things, but you can have a mixture of traditional things with some modern elements.
So the hutch with all of the bombonieres from every single wedding you've been to over the past 20 years.
You are not a China store.
Apparently you have to get rid of those.
I get rid of the whole
top.
top.
I'm not even just talking to you, I promise. Maybe I'm a little bit talking to you. You don't have to keep all of them.
Yes, that whole top section, I just get rid of, including the top of the cabinet. Just keep the lower section.
Very nice. I love how you've done it, and still very comfortable and comfy. We love that.